Hello, and welcome to our JCHS theater session. I am so glad to see so many wonderful faces joining the JCHS community. My name is Anne-Marie Ullman. I'm the theater teacher and director for JCHS. It's my first year here teaching theater and directing, and it's the most amazing community and a very supportive, wonderful place to create art. And I'm so excited for all of you to become a part of it. So now I'm gonna go over the agenda for today's meet. So first we're gonna start by saying hello and welcoming you. And I would like to introduce you also to Mr. McDonald, Joe McDonald, who's our amazing technical director, who'll be talking with you about some tech, about tech information. Mr. McDonald, can you wave?
I will wave and I'll talk to everybody in looks like 5 slides.
Awesome, see you in 5 slides. And we have some wonderful students who are joining us to speak about their experience in theater. Our students are Shoshi Alisi, Max Bamberger, Levi Egg, Zoey Fons, Raimo Heimowitz, and Simona Lewis. And then we're gonna go over some Zoom basics for you. And then we're gonna talk about a typical year in drama, like what does it look like to be a part of theater at JCHS? And then those students who I just introduced will talk about two very important things, which is a special moment for them in theater and how they balance academics and doing theater at JCHS. And then, as we said earlier, Mr. McDonald, slide 5, will talk to all of us about our wonderful technical theater program. And then we'll talk about the fall musical, which is very special, and how to get involved. And then we'll do a question and answer session where you ask us questions, and we love to hear from you about what you're wondering about. And then we'll do a little closing goodbye. So here are our Zoom basics. So we really love to see you, to make it sort of so we can see your beautiful faces and make it more of a community event. So if you can, we'd love to turn your video on. We'd love to see you. The next is that you will be muted during the presentation. So just so we get an idea of who to focus on. And if you have questions, please feel free to type them in the chat feature. But please don't chat, please refrain from chatting to each other individually. So nothing is private. The host can see everything, so you don't want to do that. Okay, great. So now we're going to talk about a year in theater. So there are so many opportunities over the course of the school year to participate in theater. The first opportunity we have is the fall musical, and you audition for that in the summer before the spring. So we'll talk about that in a second. I have a 5-year-old who is right next to me. Give me 1 second to help her get in her shirt. And then we will, sorry, I'm just gonna, okay.
I'm hungry.
Okay.
She's hungry. Sorry, my children. Okay, so first we have the fall musical, which is a great opportunity, and you can join tech for that, or you can audition, and it's a really special time for the theater department to really start with a bang. Then we have the winter drama, and this coming year and for the future, we're really focusing on using that time to really, as a really education forward time, and learning about tech and learning about all the aspects of theater in that space. And then for the final show, which is our spring comedy, it's just a really fun way to like release and have a great time. Right now we're doing 4 episodes of different television shows: Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Seinfeld, Friends, and Parks and Recreation. And it's just been like a really great way to just be light and joyful. So it's a nice way to end the year sort of and move forward. Also you can take acting class from me, and we have the after school technical theater program, which is great. So that's sort of what the year looks like. So now we're going to hear from our wonderful students. Again, I'll say I've asked them to talk about 2 things. One, a moment in theater that they remember being really special. And second, how they figured out how to balance both theater and their academics. So we're going to start with Shoshi. Shoshi, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Shoshana, or Shoshi. I'm in the 11th grade. I'm from San Francisco, and my favorite show that I've been in so far has been our most recent musical, Spelling Bee. For me, I would say an especially impactful and enlightening moment was in the musical. We were doing character work, and my character, she was a very angry ex-convict, and she just had so much like violence and pain in her, and I couldn't really relate to that, but I was trying very hard. And part of that was picturing where she lived, and by picturing like her life and being that personal with her, I was able to have like a greater empathy for her, and thus like more of a call to empower her through my performance. So I felt a lot more connected to her, and I was able to sort of merge my personality with her personality, and that was really special. But there are so many wonderful moments in theater. And the way I try to balance my schoolwork and theater is, first off, like really observing how I learn. And so in my case, I think a lot better in the morning. So for late rehearsals, I go to bed as early as possible and wake up as early as possible and do my homework then, which works really well for me, as well as really practicing self-advocacy and good communication, because we're very busy, but the teachers are very, very understanding and supportive. So if you work hard to communicate with them and share your needs, no matter what your needs are, they'll understand and work, try their best to support you, and you can get extensions, and it's great. So that's what I try to do to balance it all.
Awesome, Shoshi. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, next we'll hear from Max Bamberger.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm in 11th grade. I live in Berkeley. And one thing that I especially connected to in theater, or was like special to me, especially when I was in 9th grade, was having a whole community of 10th and 11th and 12th graders who kind of knew how the school worked, and do like it felt like took me under their wing and stuff, and that was really helpful to get advice from them and friendship and guidance, and to really make me feel like welcome at the school as a 9th grader. My favorite show is also probably 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, which we performed this fall, because it was really fun to like step into the role of being that upperclassman leader who was like responsible, like all of us were now responsible for bringing the energy and the guidance. So that was really special.
Awesome, thank you, Max, for sharing. So next we'll hear from Levi. Levi, do you have a special moment and a key to how to balance the 2 things?
Yes. So, hi, I'm Levi. I'm in 11th grade, so I'll be a senior next year, and I live in Oakland. And my favorite show that I was in at JCHS was probably A Flea in Her Ear, which was our spring comedy when I was a sophomore last year. And a moment that like stuck with me from theater was like similar to Max's. at the end of, or not like the same as Max's, but yeah, during the warm-ups, like the last warm-up for the last performance of the last show of last year, just like when all the seniors were leaving and we were all like just like talking about that, and just like they were like kind of like the staples of the JCHS theater department. So then it was kind of like they were like passing the torch to us, and we were like the new staples, which was really cool. And then a way I balance my work with theater is I just like I have a long commute home, so I do a lot of work on my commute and take advantage of like study halls, and like if I have a lot of work, lunches, and just like any time that I can find. And it's pretty manageable, especially because teachers are really understanding. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Levi. So next we're going to hear from Zoey, who is our freshman representative. She is a freshman this year and just started theater in the winter. So Zoey, can you please share with us?
Hi, my name is Zoey. I am a freshman and I live in San Francisco. My favorite show and my only show that I have done so far is Antigone. I am currently in the middle of rehearsing Friends, so I have a feeling that that's going to be a good one. And a really special moment for me was right before or at the time of auditions. I was super nervous. I've blown every single audition before. So I decided to try to audition alone, and luckily Miss Ullman let me. And I was super uncomfortable on stage at first, and then Miss Ullman helped me realize that it's not about being correct and stiff, but it's about having fun and really just being comfortable on stage. And that was super special for me. And then I memorized my lines for the first time, and I really got in touch with my character, and that was super special to me because I've never really truly done that before. And how I balance academics with theater is I definitely take advantage of my study hall and all of the time that I have at home. Also, you can ask teachers for extensions. They are very, very understanding, especially during show week, because they see the performances and they know how much work that you have to put into them. But don't ask for an extension if you don't truly need it, because it just messes everything up. But you can definitely ask for it if you need it.
Awesome. Thank you, Zoey. Sounds like communication is a through line in that balance act of theater and academics. Okay, great. So now we're going to hear from Raimo, who's a brilliant technician and costume designer. So Raimo, can you give us your moment and your advice?
Yeah, hi, I'm Raimo. I'm a junior. My favorite show was A Flea in Her Ear, like Levi, and I live in San Francisco. And a moment for me that was really, really special was during, I think it was A Flea in Her Ear, when my friend Ashley was running soundboard, and she played You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift, and we got on stage in the middle of Hanging Lights, and we just sang the whole song through, and it was just such a fun moment. I was like, wow, these are the people I really want to surround myself with, and it was just really special and just so silly. It didn't even have to do with theater, but it was such a like, I love what I'm doing right now moment. And how I manage schoolwork and theater, for me, the most important thing to manage is my sleep, because when I get a little less sleep, I get a lot more grumpy. So I live really close to school, so I make sure to get to school early, because I find, just like Shoshi, when I do my work in the morning, I do it much faster and much more effective. And so I do it in the mornings. I'm really make sure to get in contact with my teachers, because your teachers really want you to succeed. So if you reach out for them and you're like, I need help with this, I need a little more time on this, they will hear you. But also don't get extensions if you don't need them, because that makes more work when the show is over. And also make sure you use your study hall really, really effectively.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Raimo. Okay, our last but not least student, Miss Simona Lewis, who has been an actor and is now assistant directed last year too, I believe. Okay, Simona.
Yeah, hi, I'm Simona. I am also a junior, and I live in San Francisco. My favorite show was probably also Spelling Bee, this year's musical, for a lot of reasons, I guess. But my favorite moment in theater overall, or like a pivotal moment for me, I guess, was my freshman year. Our spring show was a series of scenes about like different like moments in life. And Max was my scene partner actually, and we did this one exercise where we did a lot of character development and developed all these backstories for our characters and like their relationship. And I'd never done that really for a character before, and it was the first time that I really felt like I was the character and I knew my character and I was like creating a person. And I've been able to apply that to every other acting experience that I've had since then, which is really cool. And time management wise, I think, I mean, especially as you get more to the upperclassmen level, it gets more difficult just because the workload is heavier. I think especially as freshmen, teachers are a lot more accommodating and understanding, just in general, even if you're not in theater. But yeah, I think a through line, as Ms. Ullman pointed out, is definitely communication. And like Raimo said, what I thought was like something to highlight is don't ask for extensions if you don't need them. I've definitely been in a spot before where I've been like, I can't do any work tonight at show night, and then ended up with like 4 projects due a week later at the same time. So for me, what really helps is just planning my schedule in general. For more long-term, I guess. So I'd plan out my whole week homework-wise and be like, okay, I'm gonna get home at 6, and then I'm gonna do these 4 assignments today. And that's how I stay organized and how I stay on top of my work. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much, Simona. And thank you to all of you. Wonderful student panel. So now we're gonna hand it off to the wonderful Mr. McDonald to talk about theater tech.
Hey guys, I'm Joe McDonald and I run the theater tech program here at JCHS. Just in case some of you don't know what that means, tech is it's the planning, it's the designing, it's the painting, it's the building, it's the hanging, it's the sewing, it's the sweeping, it's the focusing, it's the plugging in things. It's all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that makes our theater productions such a high caliber that they are. I wanted to show you this very brief video. It looks like it's just over 3 minutes long, 3.5 minutes long. This is a video we created for our last show, which was Antigone, and it emphasizes the technical aspects of it. And as you're going to see, it's the whole thrust of this video is how we take from a model of a set and actually create the actual set for the actors to work on. So let's watch it. So this is our model, and as you can see, it really consists of the thing on stage right was a boulder, which was 256 cubic feet. It was 8 feet tall, and theater tech, in conjunction with our art classes, created it using a lot of different things. Then the art classes came in and they graffitied it, as you can see, and that's the finished product. The second aspect of that set you can see in the model was the staging, the platform stage. And we had 8 students who helped construct this set. Now that set extended, cantilevered 12 feet into the audience. So we had a time-lapse camera set up, and you can see over the course of, I believe it was about 1.5 weeks of that set being created.
And I think Ariana is with us, who is in Antigone.
Oh, yay. We're
Yay.
actually going to see her in a minute then.
Yeah.
And then the last piece of the set was an 8-foot stele, and it was created from many layers of carved styrofoam. And once again, Tech, in conjunction with our art classes, created it. You're going to see it being carved, yeah, right about now. There's the finished piece. Once the set was done, we brought onto the stage over 2 tons of sand in 25-pound bags. And if you do the math, that's a lot of 25-pound bags. And then here's our backstage crew setting up their communications link. If you're on Tech backstage during the shows, you're on headsets talking to your stage managers, who are typically up in the booth. Sometimes they're in the back of the house. Sometimes they're also backstage with you, but everybody's connected via headset. And this is the final completed set after it was done, and it was ready for the actors to start using to rehearse. So at this point, Tech turned over the stage to the actors and they were able to rehearse. And these are our 2 students. I believe we had more than these, but these are 2 of our students from Brandeis, San Francisco, who were in the show. Just a couple shots of the finished set with the actors on it. And there's Levi. So I have been a JCHS technical director for over 10 years now. And many of our students who went through our tech program have gone on and they've minored or majored in design or technical theater in college. Some students who I met for the very first time in our freshman orientation meeting, just like this one, although it was in person, went through our program, minored or majored it in college, and now are professionals in their areas of design or stage management. They're actually earning livings in design or technical theaters. And we've hired some of them as guest artists at times for our own productions, actually brought them back to school as professionals. Now, when you decide you wish to be in tech, you and I will meet and we'll go over what your interests are, what specific interests that you may wish to explore, or maybe you want to try everything. You want to learn how to hang lights, light theory, design lighting design, sound design, sound theory. Would you like to build or paint the sets, design and sew the costumes, work on makeup, prop construction? You can do either one of these things, some of these things, or all of these things. And it's whatever your interests lie. And after you've been on a couple of shows, if you wish, you can move up and actually run the lights or the sounds or the projections from the tech booth. Now, if you're interested in any of this, just shoot me an email. This presentation will be on YouTube and my email address already passes by. And also at the top of the school year, I'll make general all school announcements about tech, and you can sign up or at least meet me in school then, and we can get you ready to go. Thank you very much. Miss Ullman.
Thank you so much, Joe. We really do have an amazing tech program, thanks to you, and please reach out to him for to get started. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the fall musical, which is really special. And as I'm speaking, we'll play the video we made of the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee rehearsal process, which was the musical that opened in November this year. The musical is a very special thing at JCHS. It's an opportunity for you to not only act on stage, but to also get singing training and dance training, and really have an eclectic experience. So you can see Mr. Feltman there in the background. He's our musical director, and he really does an amazing job, not only getting everybody singing together, but also teaching how to sing. And you can see the wonderful cast bonds so much. And then we also, it's an opportunity, and here's some tech footage, which is great. The tech on that show is amazing. So here we have some dancing I was about to speak about. You also get involved with choreography when you're in the musical, and you get to learn how to dance and move, and sometimes you even can get PE credit for being involved in the musical. But the biggest thing about the musical is it's right at the beginning of the year, and for freshmen to get involved in it is amazing because it really becomes a booster shot for your social life at JCHS. Because you're thrown in immediately, you're every day amongst the upperclassmen, and you're working hard together for so many hours, and so really strong bonds form very quickly, and not only like with everybody involved, not just the actors, but with the technicians and sort of all the students and the designers. So it's a really special thing to get involved with. And I'm sure all of you are wondering, how do I get involved? Because we're on distance learning right now. Well, we're gonna still hold auditions in a new way. I'm gonna have people record their auditions, their auditions on their phone, on your computer, whatever is the easiest for you. Just sing a song or do a monologue and send it to my email address, which is right here on the screen. And we will be able, then I'll look at those, and based on what I get, I will put together some callbacks. And all of this I will send to all of you in a detailed email. But just know that that date, May 27th, is what the date I need everything in by. And you can send me video. And also, we'd love to know if you're interested in tech by that time too, because then we can really plan. So it would be just have that date in your mind, May 27th, and maybe start thinking about a song you want to sing or a monologue you might want to do now. And no prior experience is necessary. We really want to be an inclusive environment. So please don't be scared to audition because you don't think you're good enough. You are good enough. We're an educational institution. Our job is to make you good enough, okay? That's our job. You just show us your interest, and then, you know, we guide you the rest of the way. So now I think we're ready to talk to you about your questions. So I'm gonna read some questions out that we get. Please ask your questions in our chat feature, as we said at the beginning. That would be great. And then we'll answer as many as we can. We may not be able to answer all of them. So I will start us off with this question is for me. What plays might I be thinking of for the upcoming school year? Excellent question. I can promise you we'll do a musical and a drama and a comedy. That's where I am right now. And I also promise you it'll be an amazing experience. I don't have any specifics about what shows I'll be doing coming up. So then the next question is, do you have to have previous acting experience to participate? I sort of already answered that, but I'm gonna throw this over to Max.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to have previous acting experience to participate. There are a lot of people who come in with no background, just excitement, and that's the best, or with a lot of dance background, but they've never really sung or acted, or a lot of musical backgrounds, or it's just a lot of people coming together with a lot of really cool and exciting skills, and then yeah, we learn and we see what we can make together. So yeah, all are welcome.
Awesome. It's important to have a student reiterate that, I think, because sometimes adults say things and students don't believe it. Okay, so next we have a question about how auditions work. Now I spoke about how the fall musical auditions are going to work, but I would like Zoey to speak to how like the traditional auditions worked this year.
So for auditions, there are usually 2 days where you can have auditions, and you go into the theater and you read a monologue that you have chosen prior based on what choices that Miss Ullman gives you. And you read it, and she tells you what days the callbacks are, and she'll email you with more instructions after that.
Great. Thank you, Zoey. The next question is, how many students average do we have in our theater group? So I'm going to throw that one to Shoshi.
It ranges. It's usually quite a few people, between like 15 and 30, I would say, with tech and all that. I remember last year's musical, Mamma Mia, had 30 plus people on cast and crew. But even though it's such a large group, like you'll be able to shine and connect to others, and everyone will see your talent, and you'll make so many new friends, and like everyone's really accepting. So it's a really nice environment. Like, it can be intimidating to be around a lot of people, but everyone is just so caring that you just feel so accepted, and it like you forget that you just met these people, like they're already your best friends. So yeah, it's great. Yeah, and there's
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shoshi. I have some questions about what are rehearsals like and what's the time commitment for rehearsals. So we rehearse Monday through Thursday and sometimes Sundays when we're in production. And we rehearse, the usual times of rehearsals are 3:35 to 5:50. And as we get closer to the show, we increase the hours to 7, and then right before the show, we go till 8 p.m. And we really try and strive to give students every opportunity they can to lead a balanced life and prepare for when we go late and have space for homework and all of that. None of it is going to alleviate all the stress, but it's definitely, we make it like the most positive experience possible. And I just think once that you do the show and work the show or do the show or perform in the show, the energy and happiness you get from that will make all that hard work worth it. So the typical rehearsal is Monday through Thursday, 3:35 to 5:50, and then later hours as we get closer to the show. Sometimes Sundays, and the bigger your role, the more you'll usually get called. So that's how I answer that question. So the next question we'll answer is there an opportunity to sing and dance? And I'll throw this one to Simona.
Yeah, there definitely is, especially in the musical. I mean, the majority of rehearsals, or for all of rehearsals, you're either acting, singing, or dancing, and it varies. We have an amazing choreographer, Miss Gentry, who will probably be returning next year, and her, like, I dance outside of theater also, so I was, like, a little bit worried. I was like, am I still gonna be able to dance? And there's definitely an opportunity. It definitely depends on the show. Some shows are more dancey than others, but all musicals have lots of singing. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that.
So we have a question. Oh, sorry, I didn't thank you, Simona. Thank you for that answer. We do have a question about how to get involved in theater tech, and I know we spoke to that a little bit, but I'm going to have Raimo speak to it a little more from a student perspective. And also, Raimo actually designed all the costumes for our winter production, which is a high level of tech. So I want her to talk about how she promoted herself to get to that point.
Oh, thank you. So how I got involved in tech was I just kept telling people around school my freshman year, like, oh yeah, I really want to do costumes for the show. And then Mr. McDonald came and found me. But like a very traditional way, just email Mr. McDonald or Miss Ullman or find them in the hallways. It's not a very big school. You'll see them everywhere. And just be like, hey, I've never done this before. I would love to get involved. And everyone's so happy to have you. We're really like a little family. And for me, what I did was I had never like hung a light before. For the first couple of shows, I like hung lights and I was on running crew, and I did a lot of different things on tech for my freshman and sophomore year. I was assistant stage manager, I've been a prop master, and then eventually I just kept mentioning, like, by the way, I really like to sew. And so I started by doing alterations for the costume designer that they had hired, and I would help her. And then for Antigone, I was really, really honored. I got to be the costume designer. And I think I was the first student to ever get to do that. And it was just so special. And I think with more shows, with acting too, comes more like responsibility. Like, because when you're acting, the more shows you do, like the bigger role you're going to get. And same with tech. Like, you can become the stage manager or like a light board operator. And as long as you keep at it.
Thank you, Raimo. Very well said.
Awesome. We have another tech question, and I wonder if Mr. McDonald can answer it. Does theater tech stay for the whole rehearsal process, and what are the after-school hours for tech?
Tech typically is divided up into two groups. There's the drop-in tech or the hang crew, and we start earlier in the process, and we, like the actors, we take over the theater and we work typically 3:35 to 5:50. And that is the part of the process where we're hanging the lights, building the sets. Sometimes we're building the sets, if you can, during the day, during study hall, you'll come and help out. Just find us in the theater working. Then, if you wish, you can be on what's called running crew, and that's the tech group that actually runs the show, whether it's being backstage or designing the shows, putting the makeup on the actors, being up in the tech booth, running the shows, whether it's lights, projections, or sound. And if you're on that part of the tech crew, you're in for the duration, meaning you're also part of the hang crew in the beginning, but then once they're done, you stick around when the actors come on stage. And from that process, you work with the actors and the director and the designers, and you work up until, as we get very close to productions, 8 p.m. at night. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to answer, and the next question is, does everybody get a role when they want to be involved in theater? And that is 100% my goal. And I think Mr. McDonald and I have the same philosophy, which is if you're willing to come and make the commitment, we will make it work for you. We absolutely, I think interest is the first seed to great performance. So if you show interest and commitment, we absolutely want you in the theater program. And the next question is sort of linked, which is, do you have to do all the productions to be involved in theater? And I'm gonna throw that one to Zoey.
No, you definitely do not have to be part of all of the productions. For instance, I was not part of the fall musical. So the quick answer is no, you definitely do not. You can just be a part of one all your 4 years, or you can be a part of all of them all of your 4 years. I know some seniors who just graduated last year, they were a part of every single show that I saw, and I saw all of them. And I know some people now who are still here who have only done one show and just never did theater again. So you definitely do not have to be a part of every single show.
Thank you so much. So we have time for one more question, which is, are our shows Jewish based? And I'm gonna have Levi answer that question.
So typically they're not, the shows themselves are not like Jewish based, but like it's totally conducive to like the Jewish calendar and everything. Like there's never a rehearsal on Friday or Saturday for Shabbat, and like there's never rehearsals on Jewish holidays or anything. And like if anyone's uncomfortable doing anything for religious reasons or any reasons, like that's totally able to be worked around. And then also occasionally there are like Jewish elements added into shows. Like we did Antigone as the last show, and at like there was a part where someone died and we like sang a Jewish funeral song because it's just, yeah, so like sometimes we incorporate some Jewish elements into the play. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Levi. I have one more question because I'm going to take one more question because I think it's really important. I'm going to have Raimo answer it. Is can you do sports and theater?
You totally can. So my freshman year, I played basketball, and so I was not able to do one of the shows that year. I didn't do the spring or the winter show because I did basketball. So you can totally do both. But if they're the same season, sometimes it's hard, which is why it's really cool that there's 3 shows a year, because if you play a sport, you can still do the other 2 shows. But also depending on like what level of tech you do, or anything in theater for that matter, you can do them at the same time. Like if you're on makeup crew, then you're only needed there for like show nights. And so you can do a season of sports and that at the same time, especially since shows tend to be after games end, which is so important. But it's also really important that you keep your time management because it is a big commitment, and also a sports team is, and you still have homework and family commitment. So it's really important that you keep in mind, like you only have 24 hours in the day.
That's very important to remember. Thank you so much, Raimo. I do want to say before we do our closing that some of you are probably wondering, how are they doing a spring comedy right now when we're in distance learning mode? Well, we're actually doing our comedies over Zoom. And we figured out a way to get backgrounds to work and to do entrances and exits. And some of them, and I'm recording them, and then we're releasing them as video to the community. So we'll share links to that the week we open. So you can all take a look at what we're doing for distance learning for the theater department, which I'm excited to share with you. So this has been so wonderful to see all your wonderful faces. I can't wait to see you in person at school. I am going to do a closing little moment where every one of our students sort of gives, sorry, I'm getting emotional for some reason. I'm so excited that you all are here. I'm going to have every student say to you what they would have wanted to hear coming into JCHS. So let's start off with Shoshi.
Okay, so what I would have wanted to hear was that when you join theater, but really when you join the greater JCHS community, everyone will love you and you'll end up loving them so much. And I went out of my comfort zone so many times and was so happy about it because I felt safe enough to, because I was so supported. And that was something I was really nervous about, but I found my people. And everyone, even if you're not that close to them, outside of theater or anything, everyone is caring. And I've never had an experience where anyone was mean or shaming. And I've only made steps forward and done things I never would have expected and followed my dreams because everyone was just so sweet to me and I never felt shame about anything. So yeah, it's great.
Wonderful. All right, Zoe, why don't you go next?
Something that I would have wanted to hear last year when I was an 8th grader was that when you join the theater program, you are not judged one bit, no matter what your appearance is or how, or just anything. You are not judged. You are embraced of who you are, and you can talk to anyone, and they will all be there to support you and help you run lines and help you make character choices. And that is so helpful. And I was a little scared that that was not going to be the case, because I was intimidated by all of the shows that I've seen because they were all so good. And the whole theater program embraces you with open arms. So that's something that I definitely would have wanted to know.
Thank you so much. Okay, now let's hear from Raimo.
Okay, so what I really wanted to hear, two things. That one, upperclassmen aren't scary. As a freshman, I was really, really afraid of the kids that were older than me. And we're not that much older now that I am that age. Like, I feel like I was a freshman like yesterday. And the second thing is that, like, in theater, we're all really good friends. Like, just on the kids on this chat or the Zoom right now, like Simona and I went to go see the Jonas Brothers together, and Shoshi sits next to me in math. Like, we're all friends in real life, and like when you go into theater, like you're coming into your own community.
Thank you so much, Raimo. Levi, can we hear from you now?
Yeah, so I mean, this is pretty similar to everyone else because it's just kind of the universal message from joining the theater department. But I would wanted to hear just to like not be too like shy and like afraid to like fully delve into it and like fully participate in everything and be like, you know, because like I mean that goes for theater and just like JCHS in general. Like, people are not there to judge you. It's like a supportive environment where the whole goal is to like open up, and that is okay to do.
Great. All right, Simona, it's your turn.
Yeah, I mean, I think like for theater and in general, just to know like you can do it, like you will get there. I remember as a freshman being like, I can't juggle courses and theater and whatever else I decide to take on. And I can, and you can, and there's so many people who are proof that you can, as long as you manage your time and you communicate with your teachers. Like, everyone cares so much about you and your personal success, like you can do it.
Yes, you can. Sí se puede. So next, we're going to close with Max.
I would just tell my 8th grade self that if you put in a lot of hard work, then it's going to pay off in the end. And theater can be really like tiring and taxing. And I remember how exhausted I would feel after departing back to the East Bay after rehearsal every day. But it really, it really all just gets funneled into goodness and really strong connections and relationships. And yeah, really just communicate with your teachers and with your friends and with Ms. Ullman and Mr. McDonald if you have any questions or any concerns or want them to be flexible, because they're rooting for you. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. So all of you who are here coming to our school, I want you to think of those words as you get nervous and enter the school the first day of your freshman year. Just remember that those words of guidance, and take a deep breath, and you're going to do great. Well, we're so excited that we got to meet you, and we can't wait to meet you in person. So we'll sign off now, and thank you.
Goodbye, everybody. See you in the fall.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for coming. See you soon.